Podcast with Martin King and Gary Harris and myself, Matty Nash. We're here to react to the England-Scotland game. Not a good
Matt,
game.
Matt, sorry, mate. Mate, I need to be PC correct now, all right?
Okay,
So I'm going to have to do away with these. They're going to have to go, all right? So bear with me for a moment, all right? The Coke has gone. Drink water. And for those of you who've had the misfortune to travel on club coaches to an away game, you'll know 50% of that's vodka. Right, we can carry on.
That was an advert with the phone,
there you go. Anyway, so it wasn't a good game, lads, was it?
Awful. Absolute rubbish.
I hate to say this, guys, but I told you so, didn't I, last week?
You did.
Yeah,
I said this is their World Cup. They will be so up for that game. If we're not on our game, which we absolutely wasn't,
no.
then it is a. And to be fair, they had more chances to win the game than we did.
Mm.
Yeah,
they had 3 or 4 chances. 3 or 4 chances there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they were up for it, mentally, physically. They was,
definitely. I thought they played quite well.
Well, he hit the post. John Stones hit the post early on, didn't he? But apart from that, was there any outstanding players for England, or was it all from 1 to 11 crap?
That was all shit. It was all rubbish. Like my Jane follows football. She's up Gillingham, an Arsenal fan, and she's been to England games when Beckham was playing. And like Terry Butcher, they were proud to wear the England shirt. This mob here, it's just to them, it's just like another game. Even like you, right? Why did he pick Raheem Sterling? He ain't been in form for at least 3 or 4 months. He didn't show up in the Champions League final, and Southgate picked him. And Southgate today in today's press or last night's media said he wasn't ashamed of the performance. Well, if I was the England manager, I'd be spitting feathers. I'd be ranting. Because either he's lost the plot or the players have lost the plot because no one knew what they were doing.
Sterling had a very poor game last night.
It was rubbish, wasn't it?
How he stayed on the pitch for 90 minutes was beyond me.
Yeah.
He took Harry Kane off, didn't he?
Well, he looked shit, didn't he? He looked off the pace.
He really performed, did he?
No. I think that price tag's hanging over his head. 150 million to 200 million Tottenham want for him. I think that's hanging over his head.
Yeah.
And he's out of form as well.
Did you think that England thought that they just had to turn up and the win was a formality?
But then did a lot of fans think the same? Because all I kept hearing people saying was, be 4-0, 3-0, they can't cope with England. And I knew this was going to be a difficult game. We've never gone out and hammered Scotland.
No.
We've never hammered them.
It's a derby game, isn't it?
Tight game, always a tight game.
Because it's a derby.
Even in '96, look, he missed that penalty. Gazza went up and got the glory goal. Had he not missed that penalty, could it have been a different story? It's never going to be an easy game. There ain't another game in the world that can compare to England-Scotland that brings in that derby day sort of atmosphere and on the pitch. There isn't a game in the world on the international scene that could compare to that rivalry, that history, the society between that is generated between England and Scotland outside of football is what it is, independence and all this. There's such a history. It's the closest you'll get to, I don't know, to a Rangers Celtic derby day or Chelsea Fulham or whatever, Tottenham Arsenal. And I think we all know that on a derby day in domestic football, it's very hard to call.
Yeah.
It's always a different game, and that's exactly what we get with Scotland. Not with Wales or Ireland, no, but with Scotland, yes.
But don't you think the Scottish players are proud to wear that blue jersey?
Oh, definitely, and deservedly so. I thought I thought they played with art and passion. They looked comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
Mate, I think about 30 minutes in, I said to the people who were with me in the room, I said, this is a 0-0. I wish I'd have put some money on it now.
Yeah, I fancy the 0-0. Yeah, I fancy the 0-0. But Scotland could have won 3-0. They had some good chances.
They did.
Che Evans had some good chances. Yeah. If they'd have put them away and we lost 3-0, what would have happened?
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing you can be critical about Scotland on, was their finishing. They could have put the game away more than England could have done. And if there's one criticism of the Scottish team, and it is the only one I can find, because I thought they played with everything that, they'd done well. But I think their finishing, had that been a bit more clinical, then they could have come away with the 3 points.
Yeah. But don't you think, the team selection from Southgate, do you think that was a good, two holding midfield players? Why do you need two holding midfield players in a big game? One forward. We're at home at Wembley in front of our own crowd. The team selection was atrocious.
Yeah, I just thought the way England played was they were always looking to pass back rather than forward.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
The first, let's get started. I mean, it's a terrible tactic, isn't it, Martin? Surely you face the way you play the way you're facing.
Well, listen. After about 20 minutes, we had a free. After Stones hit the post, we had a free kick in their half, and I think it was Reece James took it. Instead of crossing it for Harry Kane or whoever's in the box, the centre halves have gone up, Mings have gone up. He passed it back to the fucking goalkeeper. We're in their half with a free kick, and we pass it back to our. What the fuck? Who's telling them to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that
makes you wonder.
Off. Modern football fucks me off. You know what I mean? I just hate it. It's so negative. We got a free kick in their half, and we pass it back to our fucking keeper. Oh, God, I can put my foot through the fucking telly. It drives me mad. Modern football. Who is coaching these people? Not Southgate. He's more interested in going out buying fucking waistcoats. Honestly, it just pisses me. He's the wrong man for the job.
Talk about Harry Kane. He does look off the pace. It's just something not right with his game. Maybe it's the price tag, as you said earlier, Martin.
Or an injury.
Or do you think that he's not getting the service?
You're probably spot on there. Yeah, bit of all three. I think.
There wasn't much service going. There wasn't much of anything from England last night, really.
No, not at all.
I mean, we can sit here all day. I mean, even defensively, England got opened up a few times, and it was only because of poor finishing on Scotland's part that we didn't lose that game. Is it? I did put a post up. I did put a couple up last night. Actually, I'll mention one in a minute, because you know me, I do like to take it a little bit down the road of having a pop at society and whatnot. But I did put one post up last night. Was actually, it's quite refreshing that not everything's changing in football. We still can't perform on the big stage. It's quite refreshing. There's one thing that don't change.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, saying that, England could go on to win it. However, if you ask me the question you did last week, do I think England stand a chance after seeing some of the second round games and watching England's performance last night? Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
You imagine if we come up against the big teams like Wales.
Well, I did. Do you know what? I mean, look, I'm an Englishman first, but I'm proud to be British as well. And I have to say, if I was a Welshman, I'd be extremely proud at the moment.
Yeah.
I watched it the other day. Bale's cross for that goal, and is it Ramsey's finish? Just sublime. I mean, I thought they played well. They played with passion and heart. Everything we tend to lack, I think. But I'd be a proud Welshman if I was Welsh. I'm not, but there we are.
But they're the same as the Welsh and the Scottish are completely different to our setup, our mentality in big games. We come up against France, Spain, Italy. We get mullered. We get slaughtered. because their football is a different standard, different mentality. Look at what Gary just said. Look at the Welsh team. They play for each other and they never give up. Even after Gareth Bale missed that penalty, he still didn't. He kept going and going. We ain't got a player like that in the English team. You know, you look at I think the team selection last night and the tactics. If he's proud of them tactics and a 0-0 draw at home, he's in the wrong job, Southgate. He should have the Tottenham job. You know, that's about his level. Because he ain't a good England manager. He talks bollocks, talks absolute shite. You know, he's always got an answer, a negative answer, and he's always covering up. Instead of saying, right, you know, that was disgraceful, I'm going to sort this out. He don't say that because he don't want to upset anybody. And he brings Rashford on, again, been out of form all season. Yeah, really hit the ice.
And is that not where you start to wonder, you know, again, I mean, personally, Southgate to me is just a puppet. He's getting all his strings pulled himself. He's a yes man, you know, and I just wonder whether, again, when you look at it, Grealish have started yesterday? Should he be given a better opportunity? Yes, but is he in a top 6 side? No. You know, is this discriminationary against players of lower clubs that
possibly Gal
Southgate seems to want to always play players, whether they've had a good one. There are guys who probably played in the Championship, could have done a better job in that game last night.
That was my next question, Gary. That was my next question. Is Southgate, is he playing the name instead of the player? And I mean by that is
not new, is it?
Their name's Harry Kane or Sterling, are they getting in the side on their reputation, not their form?
But this isn't new for England, is it? Let's be honest. We've seen it in the past where players are brought in because of who they are. As opposed, if we were having this conversation in the South African World Cup, we would have been saying exactly the same thing. Why are you playing these players when you got players in shall we say, the lower part of the Premier League, even the top end of the Championship would have done a much better job than that guy. So I think there is a degree of that culture in the England setup that they have to play the big names. Even if, like Martin has already pointed out, you know, Rashford, Sterling, they ain't had a good season at all.
No.
You know?
No. Luke Shaw. Well, that's a funny choice, wasn't it? Luke Shaw. Why did he choose Ben Chilwell? Ben Chilwell's in form, just won the Champions League with my club, Chelsea, and he don't play him. He plays Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's hit and miss, can either have a brilliant game or a 2-bob game, mediocre game. You know, Phillips, he had a good game. He's had a couple of good run-outs in the team, but he picked him and Rice playing together. They don't complement one another. There's no creativity. Foden played him out on the wing. You've got to let him run, Foden. Again, I'm not a coach, but I can see what's going wrong. You can see what's going wrong. Gary, Matty can see. But if he can't see it, Southgate, he's in the wrong job.
Yeah.
And as you say, he's a yes man. Is he a yes man?
With Phillips, the two central midfielders, they are too similar to play together. It's almost like a Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard situation.
Yeah.
They're good players, but they couldn't play together in the same team. So I think you need to have a midfielder that holds, and you need someone creative in that midfield. In England, just don't seem to have it at the moment.
Well, we've got Jack Grealish. Why didn't he play Grealish in there? He can create things.
Sorry, Martin. I was just saying, again, coming back to what you've just been saying, you know, Grealish has been on form all season.
Yes.
And the season before that, in honesty. He has been setting Villa on fire. He played them 2 friendlies, both of which he got man of the match because he was that good. He didn't get a look in on the first game, and then he's on the bench in the second game. No creativity from the England side. You needed a creative player. If there is one creative player in the England squad right now, and I've said this last week or the last game, I'm not his biggest fan, but I do think that if he's given the opportunity, he could actually set England on fire.
Do you think that he's not getting the opportunity because he plays for Aston Villa?
Well,
if he was to play for an Arsenal or a Chelsea or a Tottenham, do you think he'd be in the first 11?
Well, that comes back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
That comes back to that whole thing that I think it's not brand new that this is happening, but there does seem to be a favouritism to play the big names. And this conversation has gone on many occasions, on many a tournament, where England players are getting picked not on merit but on name. So it's not a new thing with the England setup, but certainly if we are to ever see a successful England side, that culture has to change.
I absolutely agree, Gary. Yeah, I
but
think
who's got the
and that culture has to change. No, sorry, go on, Martin.
Who's got the nerve to change it though? Who's going to come in? Because you've got people behind the scenes, the grey suits at the FA.
Yeah,
you know, but they're not going to let anyone. You know, going back to what Gary said from years ago, it's been the same principle: pick the names, not who's in form. Big names, big clubs, big names. You know, when they want everyone cried out for Brian Clough to be the ex-Forest manager. We want him as the England manager.
Yeah.
The FA wouldn't take a chance on Clough.
No.
Because all Clough's teams are built on players who put in 100%.
Yeah.
And that's all he didn't want big names. He broke the £1 million barrier buying Trevor Francis. But other than that, he had workhorses. He had people who wanted to die for him. And if he would have been England manager, he would have picked the players in form, not necessarily with big clubs. And it would have worked, but no, the FA haven't got the nerve to pick someone, a manager who can manage the England team on his own device, not what they want him to do, sort of thing. That's how I see it.
So Southgate, as you say, he's a puppet. So if he was to do that, or any other person in that position, if they were to do that, they'd lose their job.
Yeah, 100%.
And maybe the media, and even in some respects, some of the fans are to blame in this as well, because if they don't pick Harry Kane, there'll be a massive uproar. You know, so maybe there is a section of the fans that should take some responsibility. The media, 100%. The media would flay the FA, would flay Southgate if he didn't pick Harry Kane, you know, for the squad. So I think, yes, the FA have got to stand up and grab a pair of balls. But at the same time, there are outside influences. Guys, I know we get short time. I have to bring something up, right? What channel did you watch? This is going to be controversial, right? But then that's me, Gary Controversial. What channel did you watch the football on? Was it ITV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Did either of you see that advert at half time?
What one?
Welcome to the new world of football.
Yeah.
You didn't, did you?
Seriously? Yeah, I can't remember it.
This wasn't an advert. This was like an information film. It wasn't advertising anything. It was a public information film about the new world of football. And this advert, and this is where I don't want to get shot down in flames, but if you'd have seen it, well, I mean, you can be what you want, and it showed two blokes sticking tongue down each other.
What?
Oh, right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
what's that got to do with football?
It showed an ethnic woman refereeing a football match, which was both male and female players.
That's right, yeah.
The whole thing was, I'm like, oh my God, what, you know, and it's a very difficult one because it you know, I don't want to come across wrong, but, you know, I love football the way it is. Please leave it alone. That's, you know, and if you'd have seen it, Martin, you'd have died, mate. It was awful. I mean, what on earth has two blokes getting off on each other got to do with our lovely game?
Yeah.
What on earth, you know, I've said this, the way this world is going, and maybe we won't live to see it. You might, Matty, you're a bit younger than us, but I can see now in the Premier League will be a mixed game of football, mate.
I've said that the other week. That you've got to have three women.
Mate,
it's going that way. Yeah, I'll totally agree. It's going to. I said the other week when we were talking, there's going to become in the next 5 to 10 years where the FA say, right, we're going to mix men and women's football. Men's football, you've got to have 3 women in your squad.
Yeah.
You've got to.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to come.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next thing you've got to do, you've got to have a couple of gays in it or lesbians. And then you've got to have a transsexual. This is going to be fuck the game up completely. Football is football. There's men's football, there's women's football. And there's gay men's football teams and lesbians. But you can't mix the whole lot. Just leave it how it fucking is. This is getting ridiculous.
It is. Honestly, in some ways, I wish you had seen this information. The new
I
world
know the one you're on about now, Gary.
In some ways, I'm glad you didn't, Martin, because it would have broke your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, what is our beloved game? It was a working class game. Yes, all right. It was very much a man's working class game. That's had to change. I accept that. Women like to watch men's football. Good luck and fair play to them. But at the end of the day, it's like, why are you taking this away from us? It's actually the last Britishness that I feel I've got left.
But the thing is, the Scottish team, who told them they adamant they weren't going to take the knee?
Oh,
adamant.
You know what? I've given
adamant. And yet they took the knee. And fucking why have they taken the knee?
It was quite funny because they didn't know when to take the knee. Did you not see it?
I saw
they
that,
were looking around. Oh shit! I'm supposed to take the knee.
Yeah. Why did they change their mind? Is any
reason they were going to stand up? And they were looking around at each other.
Who changed their mind? Who changed their mind?
Oh look,
at the start, Scotland wasn't going to take the knee.
Exactly.
Then they did.
Yeah.
Why? This is what I'm asking. Has a reason been given, or did they just give in to some certain pressure?
They're saying they wanted to show solidarity against discrimination with the English players. But again, it comes back down to, and I ain't going to harp on it, what we were talking about last time, and that is the fact that this whole taking of the knee was brought in by the FA to support BLM. They cannot deny that because they put it on the shirts and they put it. If they want to change the stance, then change the action. And that's, they brought that in to support BLM. BLM has been proven to be a Marxist political organisation that isn't very popular even amongst black people, for God's sake.
Oh,
right? And at the end of the day, they should have changed the stance. And that could have been very simply linking of arms, the kick it out T-shirt or whatever else. But they haven't. They've continued it. And after watching that advert and the way they look like they want football to go, I'm afraid people like us won't be welcome at football. And I'm starting to think this has got an agenda. And this is one way for the FA to clear out all the people they don't want in football by pissing them off that much, by continuing with this bullshit.
Change the game that
we leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got my tinfoil hat on over that, admittedly. You know what I mean? I don't like tinfoil hats, but on this one, I'm really starting to question what the hell is the agenda with necessarily the FA or whatever bigger power there is wanting football to become a woke political
tool
platform that is completely not what we bought into and the love of our game. And it is heartbreaking.
I thought the FA and UEFA didn't want politics in football. Ain't that their stance? And yet they're making up films with geezers kissing one another and all about and this. I mean, it's causing more divide than anything. This
it is.
You've got to have blacks on telly or half castes on telly. It's bollocks. Let everybody get on. There's still black people go and watch football. There's still Asian people watch football.
Yeah,
but now, we don't need. There's like. I've heard that Chelsea with a new stadium, it was held up because they didn't have transsexual toilets in their plans. Oh, come on. If you saw a geezer dressed up as a bird at football, he'd get the piss taken out of him. I've never seen a tranny at football.
No.
So why do you need transsexual toilets? It's bollocks, mate. It's gone left-wing woke shit. It's gone too far. And if you disagree with it, as Matty said the other week, you're a racist.
Completely labelled Hitler.
If you disagree with the left or the woke fucking mentality and all this non-binary and it's all bollocks, mate. It's gone too far and it's got nothing to do with football. Football is our game. It's our game. Don't take it away from people who love the game. Because you're driving, as Gary just said, you're going to drive normal people out of watching football. And I'll tell you, we've got Crystal Palace, first game of the season at Chelsea. And if they take the knee, I'm going to get a ban. Because I'll be standing up fucking booing. I'll tell you that now. You'll be talking to me banned from Chelsea. So I can't stand all this shit.
Chelsea. Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to bring it back to England. We've got 4 points.
Yes.
Obviously, we're all down about the performance against Scotland.
No.
So what can you see for their next and last game?
I've got to say straight away, I'm not down about it. I expected it. I didn't expect anything different. Like we said last week, I think, those of us that have been around long enough got a level of expectation a lot lower than maybe younger generation have now, because we've seen it, done it too many times. What do I expect now? I expect if England want to progress, then they need to either draw or lose to the Czech Republic to avoid one of them big boys if we win the group, because I believe if we win the group, it'll either be Portugal or France. And on to last night's performance, I can't see us getting through. Again, they could surprise us and turn it on. What do I see? I don't know. After last night, I don't know.
Your views, Martin?
I think it'll end a draw. The Czech Republic ain't no mugs, and we always struggle against like the Czech Republic, Slovenia, Lithuania, all the smaller sort of former Eastern European countries.
Yeah.
We struggle against. We really do struggle. So I can see, and they've got some good players, the Czech Republic. They ain't no mugs, play good football. And as you see against Scotland, they're a good side. I can see it ending in a draw. And I don't know, Gary's just said we could get Portugal or France. Was it, Gary, you just said?
If we win the group, then we play the runner-up of the group of death, which is France, Portugal, Germany and Hungary. Right. If we come second in the group, I think it's... but then we got to beat these sides if we want to win anything. So it
doesn't matter when you play.
I don't buy into all that overly. I think the only reason we buy into that as English people so much is we like to see England go at least a little way in a group so we can have a few more beers and a bit more of a sing-song.
Absolutely right,
I think we buy into this only because we know we ain't going to fucking win nothing. So well, at least we can have a few more beers with the lads. Let's at least get an easier route through, and then we got a few more sessions. I think, the mentality of, let's avoid that, let's avoid this, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
You've got to beat these sides to win. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, you're right, Martin. I would, if I was a betting man, I'd probably look at a draw maybe against.
I fancy 2-2. I fancy out of that one. If we can, if he changes the system. He can't put them same players out again.
No.
He's got to change the system. He's got to play 2 up front, surely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got to drop Sterling. He's got to drop Phillips. He's got to drop Shaw. Well, I think so anyway. And one holding midfield player. And someone with a bit of flair. Start Grealish from the start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's the only player who can go. He can dribble class players.
Give him a chance. It's...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
For God's sake. I mean, obviously, the other players haven't really done anything. So give Grealish a chance. If he
100%.
If they start him and he doesn't do anything, then back to the drawing board. But he has to change something like Martin, doesn't he?
The only worry I've got about Grealish now is confidence. Look, these players, especially at that level, especially someone like... Look, Grealish has got a bit of arrogance about him, which is probably what makes him the player he is.
Yeah.
But he has got a level of arrogance there. But you find with people like that, if they keep getting knocked back, their confidence will drop. And will he perform? Because he'll be coming out, so I just think the longer Southgate keeps him out of the pen, he needs to start a game, I think, Grealish, to really show what he showed in them 2 friendlies, and that is he can be an absolute nightmare to the opposition. He can mess it up. He can really sort of, you know, be all over the place and make things happen. And that's what we had last night. No one making anything happen. When he came on, I didn't think he looked a bit out of sorts, I thought, when he first came on. But then he's being brought on, you know, again, you know, this guy needs a bit of confidence back now.
Yeah.
You know, what more can he do? He absolutely smashed it in them friendlies. He literally smashed it, and then he's gone into the tournament and not got a start in the first game at all, and brought on as a sub in the second game. You know, that's got to have some effect on your mentality, I think.
Yeah. Did you see when he did come on last night though? He was coming really deep to pick the ball up off of Stones or Mings.
Yeah.
And then he's got, instead of playing off of Kane or whoever's at the centre forward, where he's at his best, as you said, he can roam around, picking the ball up and creating chances. He was coming really deep to get the ball, and then he was trying to do his little bits and pieces. But you've got to play him a little bit further forward.
Yeah, definitely.
He's the only player who can go past people. Harry Kane can't run past anyone. You know, he's got a good shot. He's a good header of the ball. He's a great passer. He's got no pace. He can't go past people. Raheem Sterling just runs himself up a dead end. You know, he goes round in circles like a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The head chicken, as you said.
His performance last night did tell me. I did read into that a little bit, and I thought he's on there for the wrong reasons, maybe, because he shouldn't have stayed on the pitch for 90 minutes, Sterling.
Yeah,
he you know, I did, and the substitutions, well, I couldn't work them out overly. Kane, I sort of got, but for me, like I say, you know, I don't know.
But Rashford,
I mean, I listened to Ian Wright last night, and he was proper upset about it all, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he was. Yeah,
I do like him, mate. He wears his
passionate.
heart.
He's passionate about his country.
He's so passionate. You know, I've got to say on the punditry, ITV, the panel they had last night, I thought was, you know, Keane, Wrighty, Souness, great panel. I agree with that. Overall, I think the whole thing's been a load of bollocks. I think some of what I've been watching is ridiculous. The panels have been, especially the BBC one, you know, the panels have been absolute. You know.
I watched that BBC one the other day. They had a woman who was the sort of anchor of the show. And they had no disrespect, but they had a black woman. I've never heard of her. Don't even know who she was.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, who's this, my beer? And they got that woman, that Alex Scott. She'd go to the opening of the fridge. She would. She's on everything. The One Show, the Motor Show.
Yeah.
She's on everything. And you can't have 3 women and 1 geezer. I forget who it was. The bloke was on. They must have dug him up the cemetery because I ain't seen it for donkey's years. But you've got people no one knows about, and you ain't going to listen to their opinion because your opinion as a football fan is probably far greater than their opinion as a woman who's played 400 times for England. So what? You know, if I was played basketball 400 times for England, was on a panel about football, I'd think, well, what's he doing? I'm the same. What are some of these people putting their 2 pence worth in about football when they've not played at the highest level? Come on, you've got Souness, you've got Ian Wright, and Roy Keane.
Yeah.
You've got 3 great legends.
Yeah, it was a good panel last night.
No, great panel. Talking about, yeah.
Well, of course they don't. And you've got 2 women and a geezer I ain't seen for 50 years on talking about football. He played in baggy shorts and lace-up boots. And all, you know, I mean, it's just ridiculous, the panels. The panels they're bringing out are ridiculous. Because no one's going to listen to their opinion because it's not valid. They've not played at the highest level. So why can they be commentating on the European Championships? Well, last night's panel, you couldn't disagree with them. You know, that you've got 3 world-class players in there.
Yeah, I enjoyed listening to what they had to say.
And
for a while.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
You know, and as you say, Wrighty loves his playing for England, loves playing for Arsenal,
Yeah.
loves being a pro.
So passionate, absolutely loves his
mate.
country.
But you can't. Oh, that was the other one they had on. They had the Chelsea women's manager on.
That's right, on the
sounds-
BBC, yeah.
She sounds like fucking half a mallard. I'm thinking, how can you ever? She's not even articulate to explain anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not being horrible, but you can't have people on there.
It's just PC thing. I don't know. I've got to say, because I was watching something. They brought this new channel out, haven't they? GB News.
Yeah.
Right, and I you know, it's all this refreshingly, you know, balanced approach to every side of every story. So I thought, okay, I'll watch it a couple of times. I've been watching it. I think they got a long way to it. They got a lot to improve on it and everything else. Some of it I thought was a load of tosh, but some of it was good. It was refreshing to see something a little bit more open and honest. To be fair, the production needs to be better. However, I have to say this. I thought I watched it this morning, right? And, well, they really got to smarten themselves up because they had the breakfast show this morning, the GB Great Britain Breakfast Show, they call it. And it's got 3 women on it. And look, this isn't a sexist thing. This isn't about women or anything else. But this is about whether they were men or women. It didn't matter, right? Not one of them knew hardly anything about football. And they were having a debate over the game. And I have never heard something so ridiculous in all my life.
Comedy.
Honestly, it was... I just sat there with my mouth open going, oh, my God. Do you know what I mean? Even the bloke that came on via a link from their report in the Northwest, he didn't even know what the terminology for football was. He says, I don't really know what football's about. And I'm like, well, why are you getting involved in this debate? But the 3 women, and it doesn't matter whether they're women or men, it's about their knowledge, was 0. Yeah. They knew.
That's what I'm saying.
Honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
They were reading off a script and just... It was really embarrassing. You know, I thought it's nice and refreshing to see people trying to, you know, I can't stand what I see with the BBC and generally the whole media thing, the way they dictate the route of this country. But I thought it was really refreshing. But they really do need to polish themselves up if they're going to be taken seriously. Because what I see...
Okay, gentlemen, that's...
embarrassing.
We've nearly... we're waiting for the referee to blow for full time, which is going to be very soon. So we will reconvene after the Czech Republic game, which is very...
Yes.
Does anybody know the date of the next England
Tuesday.
match?
Tuesday.
How are we going to do the podcast for that? Are we going to do it straight after
we do the podcast,
If you want to, or the next day I'll be working, so...
Yeah, we talk about that.
We'll talk about that, cool.
Okay.
Well, it's been interesting again, gentlemen.
Okay, thanks.
It's been lovely, mate.
It's been as interesting ever. So we'll reconvene after the Czech Republic game, and there'll also be more videos coming from UK Casuals soon.
Yes.
Cool.